Uh, hey, who turned that around? Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Well, we talked about the collector yesterday. Today, which is the same day for me, but it's the next day for you guys. We'll talk about the collection. Now, before I get into my review of this, I forgot to mention. For some reason, I forgot to mention this. The collector was originally conceived as a prequel to Saw by Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton. It was a prequel to Saw, and it would deal with an event that gave some trauma to Jigsaw when he was a kid, I guess, is what I'm getting. So I'm assuming that little girl would have been a little boy, right? Is what I'm getting. And that Hannah in the first film would have been a young John Kramer. They would have been the Kramer family instead of the Chase family. But that was scrapped and they decided to make it its own thing, which I think worked better off. So this is a sequel. Came out 3 years later in 2012. Yeah. It's pretty good. I'll tell you. This movie has one of the best kills I've ever seen in a movie ever. It is a massacre of people that just... The synopsis reads like this for me. A girl named... Forgot her name. A girl goes missing, and Arkin is found and is talked into finding this girl, this teenage girl, by her father's bodyguard. What the hell is her name? Hold on. Elena. Her name is Elena. I don't know why I black out certain things like that. Her name is Elena. I had to look up the last video I watched about it to remember, but it's Elena. I heard people say this takes place in 2012, but I find that bullshit because there's no way. It's been 3 years, and we'll get to it. So, we start off with a car accident. Elena and her father, played by Christopher, I eat pieces of shit for breakfast, McDonald. Shooter McShavin himself. There's a car accident which results in him having a messed up leg for the rest of his life, apparently, because he's seen later with a cane. And now years later, Elena's all grown up. She has a shaved head for some reason. To each their own, I mean. She has more hair on her head than me, but so do a lot of people. Anyway, so she's gonna go to this rave. Okay. So I have an issue with something here. She's stupid. She's stupid. Her boyfriend calls her and say, "Hey babe, I can't make it tonight. I gotta work late." And then one of his friends yells, "Come on, man, let's go." She'd be able to hear that, and she just sort of laughs. She's like, "Sorry, babe." He's like, "Sorry, babe, I gotta go," and hangs up. But she kind of just laughs at it, and I'm just like, "No, he said he had to work late." And then you hear one of his friends yelling. There's no way she didn't hear that. There's no way she didn't hear that. By the way, the boyfriend, Brian, is played by the same guy who played Adam in Unfriended. So cheating is as cheating does, I guess. By the way, he's got some goofy-ass haircut here. It looks like he's wearing a wig. He could be, but I don't know. So, Elena is contacted by her friend, who is played by the babysitter from Paranormal Activity 3. She's also in The Grudge 3, and she's in this. She likes sequels. Mostly 3s. But they decide to go to a rave in a garage somewhere. They got to do a password. Her little brother's there, and they hint that the little brother has feelings for Elena because he's like, she's talking to her brother, and she's like, "Oh, you have to be nice. Don't just hit on a girl. Say something nice, like nice shoes." So when Elena comes in, he's like, "Nice shoes." Too bad that goes fucking nowhere, because he, the sister, and Mr. Boyfriend, yes, the boyfriend is there. We found out the boyfriend is there, cheating on him with a very gorgeous blonde woman. I don't know. I wouldn't cheat on my girlfriend with her, but if I was single and she asked me, I wouldn't say no. Then again, who would ask this? Going bald, for God's sake. Actually, like I said before, I look like Grimace's albino brother, or cousin, or something. Cheeseburger. Anyway. Cheeseburger. They say when you make yourself laugh, it's not actually funny, but cheeseburger. I don't know. Anyway, it was funny the first time. The next two, I don't know. So this is where the best kill in the movie comes from. Now, but just a question: how the hell did he accomplish this? Like, there's this big roto blade thing above everyone. It comes down and kills absolutely almost everyone here. Best friend's brother, and boyfriend gets killed eventually. But during this, because she saw her boyfriend, she ran off. Elena's in the bathroom, and she sees, the chest, the little chest inside his Arkin. And he tells her they gotta get out of there, but the Collector comes around, of course. He kills all these people, and one of the glorious mess. It's like a combine, but killing all these things. It's fantastic. Blood, guts everywhere, body parts, limbs flying everywhere. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But, yeah, and then Arkin doesn't do anything. So, after everything goes down, she sees Arkin again. With her eyes, she's like, "Help me." And he's just standing there. He sees the Collector behind her, and he barely has time to say, "Watch out," before it grabs. Like, why doesn't he say it earlier? It grabs her, takes her away, and Arkin uses the boyfriend to jump out the window. He doesn't go after her. Then again, he doesn't have an emotional attachment to her like he did Hannah. So he jumps out the window, he lands out, and he is taken to the hospital where he's handcuffed to his bed by the FBI. Why? Well, why exactly? There's a news report thing when the movie starts where they say they're looking, that he's gone missing since the events of that, the first film. Why did the FBI, I know he robbed the joint, but they can't prove that. Like, they know he's a criminal, right? And he's breaking and entering charges, whatever. But they can't prove he was there to rob anything because the whole place blew up and it's been incinerated. There's nothing left. They can't prove anything was taken. So they have no proof. Any other evidence would be circumstantial at this point. They have nothing to keep him handcuffed or something to arrest him for. I've seen cop shows. I know how this works. You say, well, that's not how it works in real life. This is a movie. His wife shows up, played by a different actress, and the daughter is never mentioned or shown. And neither is the debt that she owed in the first film. They just find a bouquet of flowers that says, can't wait to meet, get well soon, can't wait to meet the family. He assumes it is from the Collector and tells her to go to her mother's house and not tell anyone where she's going. Now, I said he assumes it's the Collector. What if it's Roy? What if he's like, you know? Now, here's my issue. If this is 3 years later, in the time that this movie came out, shouldn't she be dead or something? Should Roy have killed her? Or the daughter or something? The daughter's not there, so we can assume maybe. I don't want to think about that, but I don't know. They just wanted to have the wife in this scene so they can write her off. Oh, she's doing this right now. I don't know. It just doesn't. If this takes place in 2012, then what happened with that subplot from the first one? The whole reason why he was there to begin with was to get that gemstone, right? By the way, we never find out what happens to that thing. Instead, a man named Lucello shows up. He's played by Lee Tergesen, who you may know as the biker guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, or maybe from that movie No One Lives. But I know him as Chet from the Weird Science TV series. And he's fantastic in that show, by the way. He plays Lucello here. He is a bodyguard, and is revealed later the man who saved Elena from the car. And he tells Arkin he wants him to lead them to the Collector's lair. So we find out that Arkin has marks on his arm that will lead them to the Collector's lair. Scusa. From where? Certainly not from the hospital. So it can't be from the club, unless it's either from the club because he marked himself on the way to the club, or it's from the Chase's house. I would think the club, they had to go back to the club and they had to start from there. The only problem is, how do marks on your arm show you where to go and which direction you're coming from? You're in a box. You don't know which direction you're going from. I mean, I can see in other movies where they say, oh, I heard a bridge. I heard this. That sort of thing. But I don't know how marks on the arm work. But, of course, they find it. It's some abandoned hotel. And this is why it's called the Collection. Because you see the Collection. Arkin, of course, only agreed to take them there, but he was leaving. But, of course not. Of course that's not what happens. Lucello forces him to go inside. Apparently Marcus Dodson said that one of the inspirations for this was aliens. I could see that, like visiting him in the hospital, much like talking to Ripley about going in. But Ripley was hesitant, but ended up going in anyway, because she knew that they had to be stopped. Arkin is like, no, fuck this, I'm out of here, I'm not doing this, no, go away. And no. But he's forced to go. And then as soon as he gets there and shit gets heavy, he's ready to leave again. He's ready to take off. He's gone. Like, he ditches these soldiers partway through. He's like, no, I'm out of here. Meanwhile, Elena wakes up. They have these spiders, which were not real spiders. They were composited onto her because she did not want to do it whatsoever. And yeah, she meets this girl named Abby, who of course is going to end up betraying her because, of course, that's how it works, right? Even when she finds out that she's deaf, that Elena is deaf, that's when she freaks out. She's like, oh, no, you won't be able to stop him. You won't be able to, no, you have a weakness. You have a weakness. So what? Arkin was running around with bloody arms the entire time in the first one, and he did it just fine, right? And he's got a broken arm in this one. So, which must have come from, or was that in the first one? I don't know, but was that at the end of the first one, or was that when he put him in the trunk? He had a broken arm from something, but eventually Arkin is met back up with them. He tries to hide in this garbage chute thing and is somehow able to hold on to the side of this trash chute and hide with a broken arm. Did they forget he had a broken arm here? Because that doesn't seem logical to me. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know, but it doesn't seem very logical to me. Then again, you know. Here there's a trap that goes off by... There's a trap that goes off and it springs spikes from the ceiling. I don't know. There's a scene where the dogs, like... The collector shows up with his 2 dogs. And I don't know what Marcus Dunst's issue is with killing pets. The cat, the first one. And the dog, too. The dog, too. But he has 2 dogs here. And they get killed. And then later, Lucello is supposedly dies here. But he comes back later. He throws the dog's severed head. If you're a dog lover, I wouldn't watch this. Just saying. Of course, it's a prop. But, come on. It's the idea, right? And I've seen a dog get hit by a car. She survived, by the way. And I was super strong. The adrenaline was in my soul. As I picked the dog up. There's no way normally I'd be able to lift that dog, but I was confused, right? Because this dog was known to get off her leash. Her name was Maggie. And as I went to unhook her, she ran off towards someone into the street. I saw her get hit. And you can never get over that. I can still see it to this day. Talking about it right now, I can see it in my head. And then they say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I didn't know what to do. I went to go inside. I'm like, I can't leave her in the street. What do I do? I can't pick her up. Picked her up. Took her into the house. I was just surprised. I was surprised. But she survived. Lasted quite a few more years. That she already had a bad back legs. But she... keep on trucking it. Real fight of the dog. Both of the dogs got hit by cars at one point, and they both survived and lived to 9 or 10 years old each, maybe older. Good dogs. Anyway, so this dog's head is taken off and thrown at the collector, and then he has a knife fight with the collector. Lucello does, and he gets his ass kicked and eventually stabbed. By the way, before this, it's down. So here's a scene for you. Arkin, Elena, and a female soldier named Paz are stuck in this cage. And Arkin decides the only way to get out is to re-break his arm. So he has to take out the cast, break his arm again. Not take it out, but break his arm again and get it through there and do that. And then they have to reset it. His arm is jello by now. I'm pretty sure. And it hurts. It hurts. I never had a broken arm before. My sister and my brother had. My sister broke her arm twice. Might even be the same arm. I never broke my arm before. The worst I had was get my hand slammed in a car door. But it was just bruised, not broken. Thank the Lord. Never had to have a cast. I had to put a wrap on it. It's ice, an ice pack. But it wasn't broken or anything. Luckily. I was going to say goodbye to my mom when I was a kid. She didn't say goodbye when she dropped me off at my grandma's. So I went out and I put my hand, stupid ass kid, put my hand in the car door to, I should have said something, and she slammed the door on it. Didn't break. It was an accident. It didn't break. But, he's breaking his arm here. And they get out. But Paz is killed with 2 stabs to the shoulder blades. A stab in each shoulder blade, and that kills her. I get if you're stabbed like that and you just lay there and bleed out, you will die. But that's not lethal. There's no way, unless you just lay there and let it bleed out, which happens. So I'm just assuming that nobody helped her up, except for Lucello, who pulls one out and uses it to fight. Not check to see if she's okay. No, she's dead. We get this pretty awesome final fight here with fire all around the place. And firework, because of course, the collector's big plan is always to light stuff on fire. He blew up the Chase house, and now he's setting his own place on fire. Trying to get rid of evidence, I'm assuming. But the whole place is ablaze at this point. By the way, I want to go back a little bit. Arkin decides best way to bring cops is to shoot a hobo. He does. He shoots a hobo, and that brings the cops almost right away. And he shoots at the cops, and that sends more, more cops. But yeah. Yeah, so there's this fire going, and Elena gets to the door, but a whole bunch of fire is in Arkin's way. He pushes the collector down the thing. There's fire, everything. You think he's dead. Arkin can't get out. You think it's the end of Arkin, but she starts smashing these box things. And it has like body parts in water, so she's smashing it. So the water comes out and they're able to get to the door. And they're saved. They're alive. They're, safe. And, but Arkin finds a chest, which means that the collector saved himself. The mask is in there, right? And, Elena's father shows up and shows gratitude by not saying a damn thing. Just kind of gives him that look like, thank you. By the way, he didn't want to. He tried to run away, just so you're aware. Then we have an ending. So I said I didn't care for the ending of the last one because he got away. He got away and then smash, and the collector grabs him. This is very similar, but I actually like this ending. It's a reverse of that, although it doesn't make a lot of sense. So we get some exposition on the radio about a guy who killed his family except for the child. An entomologist that killed his family except for his child. And we're led to believe that that is the background information for the collector. So if they know who he is, why can't they find him? I also want to call out an inconsistency. In the first film, the actor playing the collector was Hispanic. This guy is not. He's a white guy. And you can tell that. They didn't even try to hide it. Now, think, well, you could see his face, but you kind of did, because Arkin, remember that from the first one? Arkin saw him, and he was noticeably Hispanic. Well, here he's a white guy, played by a different actor, a stunt actor, presumably because there was more stunt work in this one than the first one. I don't know, but yes, Arkin has found him somehow, looking up every entomologist in the phone book, and he's number 12, apparently. He tells him to turn around, and as he turns around, the camera moves away. I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, don't show his face. They don't, because that's important. You don't want to see his face. And I'm glad this wasn't a prequel to Saw, because there's not much you can do continuing in that story, I mean, you could continue this as a sequel with this character and just say that John Kramer was the kid that got away, and that makes him become Jigsaw, But now we're following Arkin taking down this killer. It would have to be in like the 70s or something if they did make it a prequel, but I don't know. But yeah, Arkin puts him in a trunk, bashes his arm as payback for breaking his arm, I guess, and locks him up, and that's the end. They do the credits thing again this time. I think I preferred the one in the first one better, but they still do it here with the credits. But yeah, I'm gonna give this the middle of the road. It's pretty good. You know what? I'll just give this one a pretty good. I think it's on par with the first one, actually. I like it. Especially that kill. There's some good gore in this throughout the film. But, Abby. I brought her up, and she dies because she tries to betray them and then steps on a spike, which activates a trap, and like an Iron Maiden on her and kills her. Like, how does stepping on a spike activate it? I don't want to know. But yeah, this was good. So, unfortunate news. There was going to be a third one called The Collected, with the E in the middle being a 3, which doesn't make sense because there's no numbers in this franchise. But the Collector, the Collected, the Collector, the Collection, and the Collected, which would be the same thing as the collection, right? You collected them for the collection. I don't know. It filmed for 8 weeks and then shut down. Some say it was because of COVID. Some say they just shut down. Who knows? They were going to resume in 2021. They're filming. It was towards the end of 2019, so I'm assuming something with COVID, maybe. But they were going to resume in 2021, but a bunch of their props were stolen along with the footage that they had shot. So who knows? Me, I would just, spend a little bit more money. I don't know how much those props cost, but try to rebuild it. Try to keep it going. Do it for the fans, right? The fans want to see this movie. I guess I'm being selfish, but I really wanted to see where this would go. I assume it would be the third and final film, and I would like to see how it ends. Both Arkin and Alina were supposed to come back. And the Collector was supposed to be there, of course. I'd like to know how he got out of the chest. Only thing I can think of is he has a secret accomplice, which would probably take it a little too far. So maybe something else. Maybe Arkin fucks up. I don't know. We're probably never going to find out. Although Wikipedia is conflicting. On the page for... I know anyone can edit it, but on the page for the collection, it says canceled sequel. But on the page for Josh Stewart, his filmography, it says The Collected in production. So that's conflicting. Which one is it? Hello. I would like to see a third one. I don't know. Just give it to us. Marcus Dunstan, please. Find a way, please. Find a way to give us this film. We deserve it. And no, I don't want a comic book or a novel. Give us the movie. There's too many times like, we can't get this out. Like, let's just give them a comic book and finish it. It's one thing for Smallville to have a season 11 comic, but this needs to be a movie. I'm just saying. But what are your thoughts on the collection? Uno Comes Solution. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.